The reason I decided to get help was because I realized that my life was spiraling out of control. At the age of 19, I was in college at USC, where on paper looked really good, but internally and even externally, it started to fall to pieces. My friends stopped trusting me. My family stopped trusting me. I started failing out of school. I started making really poor decisions, and I realized that if I didn't get help now, I was either going to end up in jail or 6 feet under, and that's not where I wanted to be. So the reason I selected Thelma was because I actually have some internal connections here at the Torrance Memorial that allowed me to be presented to Thelma McMillan. That was my first option, and that was an outpatient program, which I needed. I didn't want to go to an inpatient program where I was completely restrained of being from the outside world. I like that Thelma has enough structure and guidance to keep you in the right direction, but doesn't cut you off completely from the community around you. Because I wanted to learn how to live sober and still be interactive with my community, not to live sober and only live sober. So the reason that I chose Thelma to enter into my sobriety was because they allowed me to see the true self of where I was. And when I needed to get sober, I had no direction. I had no idea where I was going. So luckily, I knew somebody that works at Torrance Memorial Hospital, and they directly directed me to Thelma McMillan. Without that direction, I wouldn't have been able to get sober. The reason I chose Thelma McMillan was because first of all, I needed to get sober. I had no direction. So when I reached out for help, the person that works at Torrance Memorial guided me towards Thelma McMillan, and that was the best decision ever because I was able to. It's an outpatient program, so I was able to have enough guidance and direction to get sober without completely cutting me off from the outside community. And without that, I learned to interact with my peers and remain sober while staying accountable through the whole entire process. And now that I'm 4.5 years sober, it's a natural, I live it naturally, how I can interact with people and stay sober without any problems. And Thelma helped me do that. My life has changed drastically since Thelma McMillan. Before I got sober, I did have all these aspirations and dreams to be in the medical field or part of the military, and what I realized when I wasn't sober was I just quit everything. If it got too hard, I quit. Instead of having the drive to push through to get to where I needed to be, I would just rely on drugs and alcohol to get through that and not really achieve anything. Whereas now, after Thelma, I have the drive. They have given me the tools to work through life on life's terms without actually resorting to an outside source of comfort. And now I am passing with flying colors in nursing school. I am where I want to be right now, and without Thelma McMillan, I wouldn't be where I am. My life has changed drastically since Thelma McMillan. Before I got sober, I had all these dreams and aspirations of where I wanted to be, whether it was in the military or in the medical field. And what I realized that when I wasn't sober, I just started to quit everything. If it got too hard, I would quit, and I would rely on drugs and alcohol to get me through that sort of situation, whatever it may be. Instead, Thelma McMillan has given me the tools to get through life on life's term. I have been able to now pass nursing courses with flying colors and get to where I need to be in order for me to be as happy as possible. And without Thelma McMillan's help, I wouldn't be where I am. And I couldn't ask for a better recovery program. Now I'm in nursing school and I'm passing with flying colors. And without Thelma's guidance and direction and their program of helping me see where I can possibly go, I wouldn't be as happy, and my life has changed drastically since Thelma. Before I got to Thelma and before I got sober, I had all these dreams and aspirations, and I wasn't able to achieve any of those because before I was able to achieve them, I would quit. I would stop doing it, and I would rely on drugs and alcohol to get to to the place of happiness where I thought I wanted to be. But when I got to Thelma and I got sober, they had me do a first and a second step, which helped me see where I was and where I can be through working the steps and doing the program and living this sober life. Without Thelma, I wouldn't be as happy as I am today. And now I'm actually achieving my goals of becoming a nurse and on my way to become a nurse anesthetist. And I'm passing with flying colors, something that I'd never thought I'd ever be able to do before I got sober.